The ride home has become something I can barely stand. It's not just the steep hill, it's what waits at the top. Every day on my way home from school, I bike past an old brick fence that separates the sidewalk from a house that seems to be decaying more by the day. The windows are always pitch black, as if the house is swallowing all light, and the structure seems to crumble more each time I pass. The roof is sagging, the walls bow inward, and the paint peels away like it's trying to shed its own skin. But the most peculiar thing is the small patch of orange flowers just outside the fence. They remain vibrant and perfectly alive, even though the rest of the surrounding area is scorched and tan from the heat of the sun. The grass is brittle, the shrubs lifeless as well as it is in the house's backyard, yet the flowers continue to bloom as if untouched by the rot around them. The smell is overwhelming, a sour odor that lingers in the air, sticking to me as I pedal past. It was so strange, there would always be various amounts of gray bunnies facing the house just beside the flowers. The bunnies used to scurry away, but now sit frozen by the flowers, staring intently at the house with their unblinking eyes. Their presence is unnerving, as if they are waiting for something. One day, I noticed a new detail. The sliding glass door at the back of the house, leading to the backyard, was slightly ajar, and a frayed cord was sticking out. It was as if someone had recently been there, but there were no signs of life every day I'd pass. The house was as silent and dark as the day I noticed it for the first time. As time went on, the house continued its slow decay, becoming more dilapidated with each passing day. Then, one day, the house was simply gone. There was no sign it had ever existed, just the brick fence and the patch of orange flowers where it had once stood. The two neighboring houses were now side by side, as if the house had never been there. A few months would pass, and I had met a guy named Mark in my forensics class at school. I shortly learned that he had lived right in front of where the old house should have been. When I asked him about it, he looked at me like I was crazy. He claimed he'd lived there for 8 years and had never seen the house I described. He was adamant that it had never existed. The following day was seemingly normal. I rode my bike home from school, had something to eat, and relaxed for a bit. Then, as usual, I went to visit Mark. But, his house was gone, just like the old one. Just gone. There was no sign of it ever having been there. The neighboring houses were now next to each other, with no trace of Mark's home. I asked around, and people told me Mark had died years ago, in an accident long before I ever met him. No one remembered a house or a person who should have been there. Now, every day, I pass by the patch of orange flowers. They are still vibrant, still blooming, while everything around them continues to wither. The houses are gone, Mark is gone, and the flowers remain, as if marking something lost to time and memory. They've recently started to smell less bitter, now having a sweet scent of fresh farmer's market honey. Which is just as eerie. It's as if I had overcome a situation or something and I am being rewarded. Yet, that something should have never subjectively happened in the first place. What happened to the house, to Mark, to everything connected to that place will forever remain a mystery. All that's left are these orange blooms, still untouched by the decay that surrounds them, silently swaying in the wind. Upvote 2. Downvote 0. Comments